Good morning, students. Today our topic is atoms. So, introduction about this chapter. So, first of all, in atoms, the first atomic model is the J.J. Thomson atomic model. So, this model in the year of 1898. So, according to this model, what is the structure of the atom? So, the atom is a solid sphere in which the entire positive charge and its mass is distributed in uniform manner. So, in that the electrons are embedded like a seeds in a watermelon. So, if it is an watermelon, you have to cut that red part is nothing but the positive charge and its mass is uniformly distributed. In that the negative charges, the seeds in a watermelon. So, according to J.J. Thomson model, it is. And this model successfully explained the phenomena of photoelectric effect, and thermionic emission, and ionization. So, according to J.J. Thomson model, we can explain the phenomena of photoelectric effect, thermionic emission, ionization. But the model unable to explain the phenomena of the alpha particles. So, this model unable to explain the phenomena of alpha particle scattering and the spectrum of hydrogen atom. And other atoms spectrums, it is not explained according to J.J. Thomson. So, what is the drawbacks in that J.J. Thomson model? Based on that, Rutherford model will be explained by this alpha particle scattering. So, first of all, what is the J.J. Thomson atomic model? An atom is a solid sphere in which entire positive charge and its mass is uniformly distributed, and in which negative charge, that is nothing but electrons, are embedded like seeds in watermelon. This model explains successfully the phenomena of thermionic emission, photoelectric emission, and ionization. But this model fails to explain the scattering of alpha particle and the origin of spectral lines observed in the spectrum of hydrogen atom and other atoms. So, this is the J.J. Thomson model. So, next we can go for what are the drawbacks in the J.J. Thomson. So, they are solved by next model, that is the Rutherford atomic model. Rutherford's atomic model. So, in that first problem, what is we are facing in previously, that is alpha scattering, is explained by this model. So, it is the Rutherford atomic model. So, in the year of 1911, this model. So, our first topic is, it is the introduction part. So, our first topic is the alpha particle scattering. So, Rutherford atomic model in the year of 1911. So, the students of Rutherford done the experiment of alpha particle scattering. So, they are the students of Rutherford. So, Geiger and Marsden, they both are the students of Rutherford, studied the scattering of alpha particles by gold foil on the advice of Rutherford. They both are the students of Rutherford. They are studying the alpha particle gold foil experiment. So, in this experiment, so you will take the source for the alpha particle is a bismuth 83214. It is a radioactive source. So, in that the alpha particles emitted by a energy of the 5.5 mega electrovolts. A beam of 5.5 mega electrovolt alpha particles emitted by bismuth 83214 radioactive source were collimated into a narrow beam by passing them through a lead bricks. The beam was allowed to fall on a thin gold foil of thickness 2.1 into 10 to the power minus 7 meters. The scattered alpha particles were observed through a rotatable detector consisting of zinc sulfide screen and a microscope. The scattered alpha particles on striking on the screen produces a brief light flashes. So according to this model, first of all, what is the source you are taking here? Bismuth 83214. From this source we are getting the alpha particles. These alpha particles are aligned into a fine beam by using lead bricks. Here the lead bricks are useful for make them a fine beam of alignment. Then after they will be heated, our target is here a thin gold foil of thickness 2.1 into 10 to the power of minus 7 meters. So after hitting of this, they make some scattering and they make some of the alpha particles are transmitted and some are scattered. So how many number of alpha particles are transmitted, how many number of alpha particles get deflected, all these will be recorded on this zinc sulfide screen, and there is a detector is there along the screen. So this detector is connected to a microscope. By using this microscope we can observe so how many number of the alpha particles are hitted along straight line manner, how they will be transmitted. So if suppose these are all the alpha particle bombarding them like bombarding this target, then after what happening, that will be completely recorded on this zinc sulfide screen. This screen is the zinc sulfide screen. So it is the experimental setup. So in this experimental setup, what they are observed, so how many number of alpha particles they will be transmitted, like that we will go for next. So it is the experimental diagram. So it is the source bismuth 83214, they make fine beam of alignment, it is the target. So here you have to observe, if suppose these are the alpha particle hitting, so a diagram koncham apollo draw cheyadama. So in that the most of the alpha particles are coming without any collision, and they will not they do not suffer any collision with gold atoms. So nearly 99.86% of atoms, they will not suffer any collision by the gold atoms. That means they will be coming freely. And only if suppose 8,000 alpha particles will be hitted or bombarding this gold atoms, so in that only one alpha particle gets more than 90 degrees. Only one alpha particle gets a deflection by more than 90 degrees. So in this diagram, so most of the alpha particles transmitted, that is 99.86%. So some of them will be deflected by 1 degree. So it is the 99.86. So remaining 0.14%. 0.14% of atoms will be gets more than 1 degree. That means here like this. Every 8,000 alpha particle they get suffered by a deflection of 1 degree. So from it is the 0 degrees axis, you have to take the reference. So it is the 90 degrees. More than 90 degrees means like this deflection. So for every 8,000 alpha particles, one alpha particle get deflected by 90 degrees, greater than 90 degrees. For every 20,000 alpha particles, one alpha particle get deflected by 180 degree of deflection. That is 180 degree of deflection, that is pi. So based on this observation, what they concluded. So these are the observation points. So most of the alpha particles pass straight through the gold foil. It means they do not suffer any collision with gold atoms. So we are bombarding the alpha particles. Alpha particles means these are the positive. Alpha particle means it is the nucleus of the helium atom. We are bombarding the positive particles. So if suppose these are the positive particle means where are the positives of the gold atom, they will be suffer this alpha particle. Why? Because of positive and positive, that means they will be deflected. But they are not deflecting. And next, how much deflection you have to observe? 0.14% of incident alpha particles scattered by more than 1 degree, and about 1 alpha particle in every 8000 alpha particle deflected by more than 90 degrees. So you have to observe clearly. So it is our target. So like this, it is our target. If suppose these are the alpha particles, it is the enlarged view diagram. So if suppose these are the 20,000 alpha particles. If suppose 20,000 alpha particles transmitted, in that 99.86% of alpha particles, they will not suffer any deflection to the positive part of the gold atom. If it is a positive particles, positive alpha particles. So if it is a positive means if there any positive within this atom, then they will suffer by deflection. So that means it is a positive. Where it, here the positive, here the positive, here the positive, or where the positive. So they can observe only along the central path of this atom, central path, only one atom get deflected by 180 degrees. So if suppose this is the alpha particle, so up to here it will be transmitted, and then after it will be coming back. Up to here it will be reached. Up to here it will be reached, and centrally here they can observe here centrally positive, and up to where it will be reached. At the time, this distance from here to here is called as the closest distance of approach. At the closest distance of approach, the alpha particle velocity is gradually decreasing. At that time, the kinetic energy of this alpha particle is decreasing, and that kinetic energy of this alpha particle is converted into the electrostatic potential energy. At where this kinetic energy is balanced by electrostatic potential energy, at that point, from here to here, the distance is called as the closest distance of approach, that is called as here R0. So here bombarding 20,000 alpha particles to the gold atom. So ఈ 20,000 alpha particles bombard అవుతాయి. దీంట్లో maximum of alpha particles coming in straight manner. అంటే అలా వచ్చేస్తున్నాయంటే ఎక్కడో సెంట్రల్లోనే పాజిటివ్ ఉంది, రిమైనింగ్ ఎక్కడ కూడా పాజిటివ్ లేదని. That means in an atom so much of empty space is there, nearly 99.86% of empty space in an atom. అంటే ఎక్కడో సెంట్రల్లో మాత్రమే పాజిటివ్ పోర్షన్ ఉంది. సో దిస్ సెంట్రల్లీ ఇట్ ఈస్ ద పాజిటివ్ పోర్షన్, and remaining maximum of portion is the empty space. Based on this, they concluded the radius of the nucleus is around 10 power minus 15 meters to 10 power minus 14 meters, and the radius of an atom will be around 10 power minus 10 meters. మైనస్, సో పైన మీకు మైనస్ ఉంటే ఆ వాల్యూ ఎంత ఎక్కువ ఉంటే అంత తగ్గిపోతుందమ్మా వాల్యూ. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ ద 10 power minus 10 meters. సో what is the how many times greater than the nucleus of an atom? So if suppose it is a 10 power minus 15, you have to multiply it by 10 power 5, then we are getting the 10 power 10. That means it is nothing but the radius of atom. It is the radius of nucleus. That means around 10 power 5 times greater than. So you have to 10 power 5 times of the nucleus, we are getting the radius of the atom. That means around 10, that means 1 lakh times, that is around 1 lakh times longer than the size of the nucleus. So the radius of an atom is 10 power 5 times greater than the radius of a nucleus. So we have to multiply it by 10 power 5 times of the radius of the nucleus, then we are getting the radius of the atom. So it is 10 power 5 to 10 power 4 times. ఓకే, సో ఈ ఆటం మనం బంబార్డ్మెంట్ చేసామో ఓన్లీ సెంట్రల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి పార్ట్లోంచి వీఆర్ అబ్జర్వింగ్, సెంట్రల్లో ఒక్క ఆల్ఫా పార్టికల్ నుంచి మాత్రమే వీఆర్ గెటింగ్ ద 180 degrees ఆఫ్ డిఫ్లెక్షన్. అంటే ఇక్కడ సెంట్రల్లో ఎక్కడో మాత్రమే పాజిటివ్ ఛార్జ్ మొత్తం కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ అయి ఉంది, రిమైనింగ్ పార్ట్ ఎక్కడ కూడా పాజిటివ్ ఛార్జ్ లేదని. దట్ మీన్స్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ దిస్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ దే కంక్లూడెడ్ మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆటమ్ హ్యావింగ్ ఎంప్టీ స్పేస్. Most of the atom having empty space, and the radius of the nucleus around 10 power minus 15 meters to 10 power minus 14 meters. Radius of the atom is 10 power minus 10 meters, and in an atom maximum of empty space, and the electrons are revolve around the nucleus in a same way as the planets revolve around the sun. So according to Rutherford atomic model, these are the points concluded by Rutherford. So what are the points? So most of the atom of an atom is concentrated in very small region called atomic nucleus. So most of the mass, around 99.95% of an atom is concentrated in a very small region called atomic nucleus. ఎందుకంటే మనకు ఓన్లీ డిఫ్లెక్షన్ యొక్క ఓన్లీ 20,000 ఆల్ఫా పార్టికల్ బంబార్డ్ అయితే ఇందులో ఒక్క ఆల్ఫా పార్టికల్ మాత్రమే డిఫ్లెక్ట్ అయి వస్తుంది బ్యాక్వర్డ్. అంటే అంటే ఒక్కటే చోట పాజిటివ్ ఛార్జ్ మొత్తం కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ అయ్యింది. ఆ ఒక్కటే పార్ట్ని ఏమంటా ఉన్నామంటే దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ ది న్యూక్లియస్. సో హౌ మచ్ పర్సెంటేజ్? దట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ 0.05% ఓన్లీ. ఇన్ అన్ ఆటమ్ 0.05% is the nucleus, and remaining percent is the atom. That means so much of empty space is there in an atom. So the size of the nucleus is around 10 power minus 15 meters to 10 power minus 14 meters. The size of the atom is 10 power minus 10 meters, about 10,000 to 1 lakh times longer than the size of the nucleus. In an atom there is a maximum empty space, and the electrons revolve around the nucleus in the same way as the planets revolve around the sun. And next we go for impact parameter. This impact parameter is indicated by a letter B. So you are projecting the alpha particle, bombarding this alpha particle. So in which path it will be traveled, that is called as the alpha particle trajectory. In which path it is traveled. So here along the central of this nucleus we are bombarding, then it will get back by, that means it is deflected by 180 degrees. This angle is, it is deflected by 180 degrees. If suppose above this central axis they are deflected by greater than 90 degrees, and again further you have to increase the above this central line, so it will be deflected by 90 degrees. That means this it is the scattering angle. What is the scattering angle here means? So in which direction the alpha particle is projected to, and which path it will be scattered. The angle between the bombarding, that means projected path, and a scattered path. So it is the angle between initial of the alpha particle direction to the and final of the alpha particle direction. That means in which path it will be traveled, and in between this angle is called as the scattering angle. So here this scattering angle is decreasing. The scattering angle goes on decreasing. Automatically the impact parameter is increasing. So if suppose this theta is decreasing, B is increasing, then what is B here? It is a perpendicular distance between the initial velocity of the alpha particle along the central line. It is the central line. So to the in which path it will be projected, that means It is a perpendicular. So along this path you are calculating the impact parameter. At that time the perpendicular distance between this initial velocity vector of the alpha particle and the central line of the nucleus, it is a central line. So in between this distance is called as the impact parameter. Along this path it is 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 the impact parameter. Impact parameter is nothing but its initial velocity direction, the perpendicular distance between its initial velocity direction to the central line of the nucleus. Central line of the nucleus. Then what is the relation between this b and theta? This b and theta. B is equal to, just you have to remind this formula, there is no derivation for this. So b is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught ze square cot theta by 2 by half mv square. Just remind this formula. From this equation, b is directly proportional to cot theta by 2. B is directly proportional to cot theta by 2. So then how to relate at b and theta? B is increases by decreasing of theta. By decreasing of theta. So why? Because b have to increase it, then scattering angle is decreases. Then scattering angle is decreases. If suppose b is equal to 0. B is equal to 0. So then theta is equal to here 180 degrees. If suppose you have to substitute theta is equal to 180 degrees here. So 180 by 2 means 90. Cot 90, 0. Then we are getting b is equal to 0. So when theta is equal to 180, at that time b is minimum. That b impact parameter is minimum at theta is equal to 180 degrees. And maximum when theta is equal to 0. So this theta is equal to 0 means, so cot 0 maximum, then b is the maximum at theta is equal to 0 degrees. So it is the impact parameter. Then what is the closest distance of approach? Closest distance of approach. When alpha particle is directed towards the nucleus, so here alpha particle, it is our target gold atom. So target towards straightly along the central path. So these are the 20,000 of alpha particles. In that only one alpha particle which will be traveled along the central, that will be deflected by 180 degrees. So along that central path you have to taken by the alpha particle. So here the alpha particle. So it is deflected by the angle of 180 degrees. Why? Because this alpha particle is approaching towards to this target. Here centrally there is a positive charge. So that's why it is a positive charge. Here the positive charge. There is a repulsion among these two. Automatically it will deflected back. So positive reflect. That means repulsion force. So due to this repulsion force, so what is the incoming alpha particle? It is coming with some velocity. So that velocity is gradually decreases. So this velocity is decreases means what is the expression for kinetic energy? Half mv square. So velocity is decreases means kinetic energy is decreases. This kinetic energy is converted into the form of the electrostatic potential energy. Electrostatic potential energy. So where this kinetic energy is balanced by this electrostatic potential energy, up to which it will be reached. So at that time the distance between from here to here, the center of the nucleus to, and up to which it will be reached, the distance is called as the closest distance of approach. At the closest distance of approach, this kinetic energy is balanced by electrostatic potential energy. So half mv square is the kinetic energy. This kinetic energy is balanced by electrostatic potential energy, half 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Electrostatic potential energy is equal to here. Here how many alpha particles are? 2 plus 2e, and here plus ze. Here z means here 79. So 2e into ze means 2e into ze upon what is the distance? R naught. So then R naught is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2 ze square by, so it is the kinetic energy you have to take. It is the kinetic energy expression. It is the expression for closest distance of approach, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2 ze square upon kinetic energy. So remind this formula. So When alpha particle is directed towards the nucleus, the kinetic energy of alpha particle goes on decreasing, and it turns electrical potential energy goes on increases. And next, the minimum, so you have to, it is very easy point, the minimum distance from the nucleus up to which the alpha particle approach is called as the distance of closest approach. At this distance, kinetic energy is balanced by electrostatic potential energy. So kinetic energy is balanced by electrostatic potential energy. Half mv square is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Ze by 2e upon r naught. So from that expression, r naught is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2e Ze upon kinetic energy. And next in that, electron orbits of hydrogen atom. Electron orbits of hydrogen atom. So here the hydrogen atom means it consisting of centrally positive only one, and here the electron, single electron, it is revolving in a circular manner. In an orbit it is revolving. Here the negative of electron, it is a revolving means, so there is some force by central part, so that's why it is a revolving towards of this nucleus. That means there is a centripetal force acting towards to this electron, so that's why it is revolving like this. So this centripetal force is balanced by electrostatic force, that is nothing but Coulomb force. So what I am saying here, F centripetal force is balanced by F Coulomb's force. You have to take both sides mod. So what is the centripetal force? Already you know, that is expression mv square upon r. Here the r is the distance between these two. And what is the Coulomb force? So Coulomb force is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2, that means E into E square upon r square. So if suppose both sides r you have to cancel, it is the mv square. If suppose this electron is revolving, then what is the kinetic energy of this electron, revolving electron? Then what is the kinetic energy expression? Half mv square. From this above equation, half mv square is equal to 1 by, this equation is again multiplied with half, means 1 by 8 pi epsilon naught E square by r, that means E square by 8 pi epsilon naught r. So it is a revolving. Then what is its electrostatic potential energy? Already you know though, if suppose the electron electrostatic potential energy is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2, that means E into E, that means minus E square upon the distance is equal to r. So then minus E square by 4 pi epsilon naught r. It is the kinetic energy and it is the potential energy of the electron. Then what is the total energy? Total energy is equal to, you have to add these two. So if suppose it is multiplied and divided by 2, so denominator same, then what is that? E square minus 2e square, then minus E square upon 8 pi epsilon naught r. It is the total energy, and it is the potential energy, and it is the kinetic energy. So if suppose total energy, then what is, you have to observe, it is the minus sign of minus sign. So here minus sign indicates the electron is bounded. Here minus sign indicates electron is bounded. So then you have to multiply it by minus of the total energy, or you have to multiply it by the minus of the kinetic energy. We are getting the term of the total energy. And next, it is the potential energy. You have to divide it by the potential energy by 2. That means potential energy divided by 2. Then we are getting the expression for the total energy. So in case of hydrogen atom, total energy is given. What is the total energy is equal to, if suppose minus 5.5 electrovolts. Then what is its potential energy? Potential energy is equal to, what is the relation among these two? So minus 10 11 electrovolts minus 11 electrovolts. So then what is the relation between total energy and potential energy here? So total energy is equal to potential energy is equal to 2 into total energy. Twice of the total energy we are getting the potential energy, and minus of the kinetic energy, or the minus of the total energy we are getting the kinetic energy. So you have to remember this condition. And next, what are the drawbacks of the Rutherford atomic model? So here the electron is revolving like this manner. So automatically it is revolving in circular manner. So automatically that there is a change of velocity. If suppose velocity is changing, means that means it is accelerated. So velocity changes means it is accelerated. If it is accelerated electron, means it can emit the electromagnetic wave. It can emit the electromagnetic wave according to Maxwell theory. When an electron is accelerated by a potential, then it will be emit the electromagnetic wave according to Maxwell statement. So there is an emission of energy, means automatically the energy of this electron is gradually decreases. That means the radius also decreasing, and finally this electron is fall onto the nucleus. But it is not happening. The atom is stable. Here the atom is stable. So this phenomenon is unable to explained by Rutherford atomic model. So according to accelerated charged particle produces electromagnetic waves. So according to Maxwell, so orbital radius of the electron should go on decreasing, and finally electrons should fall into the nucleus. But atoms are stable in nature, and this stability of atom could not clarified by this Rutherford atomic model. And next, according to this model, the spectrum of atom must be continuous. Why? Because here it is continuously change their velocity, means it can lose their energy continuously. That means the spectrum will be continuous manner. But here the spectrum is a line spectrum. Here the spectrum is practically it is a line spectrum. But according to this model, so the spectrum is a continuous spectrum. So it is a one failure in Rutherford atomic model. And this model could not explain the distribution of electrons outside the nucleus. So the electrons are how to distributed, it is not explained. So these are the failures of the Rutherford atomic model. That means these are the drawbacks of the Rutherford atomic model. Okay, bye students.